Hello, welcome to Steve McDonald's Crafting, and today what I'm going to do is start working on this box. Now I picked this up at a charity shop for next to nothing, and it's really quite a robust box, but it's not very pretty. And what I want to do with it is turn it into a box to hold all my stuff that I use for doing up boxes and things. So it's all in one place and I know where it is. It has a nice little lid on, which I actually quite like the lid, because it means that I can put some sides on it and use it as a tray to put perhaps some sandpaper and things in as well. So I'm going to convert that. I'm going to strip this all down. I don't want these awful blocks inside it, and I'm also not strong enough to get them out. So I'm going to take those out, strip all the sides down, and then bling it up a bit, I think. I've got the lid off and I've taken all the hinges off. These brass ones were quite nice, but I will put a nice handle on and clasp on the front. And what I want to do now is strip off any paint that is on there. I quite like using paint stripper for this, but it does depend on the job that you're doing, whether you're going to use paint stripper or not. And this is a paint and varnish stripper. I will link everything that I use in the description below, so don't worry about that. And I just put it on and leave it on for a few hours. I do tend to put it on quite thick, because what I don't want it to do is dry out and then not strip the paint off. And I'll go around, I'll do all the sides and then the lid as well. Once it's stripped off, I can then sand it all down and then finish it off. This stripper's been sitting on here now for about 2 hours, and I think it's ready to come off. Now I'm lightly, as you can see, it's coming off lovely. I'm lightly going across the grain. I'm not pushing down too hard because I don't want to make a mark where the grain is, but that has brought that top off lovely. And then what I will do is I will go with the grain as well. Wash it off with some soapy water, and then if it needs another coat or any bits that need doing again, I can go over and do them again. If not, I can just let it dry off where I've put the water and give it a really nice sanding. The lid's all sanded down now along with everything else, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to laser engrave my logo here and an image of a toolbox here on the top before I do anything else with it. And I'm going to be using my new X-Tool laser to do that with. I put the little feet on to lift it up so it can do it quite nice and high, and I've got this all set up. So all I need to do now is to pop the box in there, line this up where it's kind of gonna start, and then I should be able to just go ahead laser engrave that in. I've changed out the toolbox because I actually like this one better, and I think this is going to work really quite nicely. I framed it all. Now I'll just show you the framing, so that's how much it should cut into there. I've got my safety goggles on, I'm just kicking start, everything's all set up, and I will leave this now to cut away or engrave away. It shouldn't take too long. Well, that's all finished cutting now, and I added some other little bits to it as well, so let's turn that off and I can show you what that's come out like. I'm really pleased with that on the lid. This is as sanded down as it's going to be, and as you've seen, I've done the lid. Now I needed to make the tray here, so I've cut a piece of MDF out to go in there like that. And then what I'm going to do is glue these pieces to the edges of this so it makes a tray. Nice and easy. I mean, it didn't take long to cut those bits out, and that's just out of MDF. So I'm going to glue them onto there and then glue them together. And then once that tray's made, I can put things in it as well. It just gives the box a little bit more usability. I'll just use a bit of wood glue with this and then clamp it down once it's all in place. Well, while that's gluing up, what I'm going to do is finish cleaning these hinges. And as you can see, I've already done one, and they come up really, really nicely. And all I use to do that with is good old wire wool, a bit of 00 wire wool, and because these are real brass hinges, they'll come up lovely. And any bits I can't get into, I just use a wooden stick and go over it, and they don't take a bit of work. The reason I wear gloves is because you don't want any of this wire wool getting into your finger, because it's a blimmin' nuisance. Well, now this is all engraved on and sanded down, I'm going to stain this top bit, but it's only this top bit that I'm going to stain because the rest of it I'm going to paint. But I want to be able to see what I've got going on here. And I'm using an antique pine stain to stain this, and I will probably give it 2 or 3 coats of stain. And I think it will just bring out this wood. And then once it's all stained and dried up, I'll give it a good varnish. And this should just bring out that grain and really bring out everything else as well, and make it look nice and rich. And using a cloth like this is not ideal, really. It would be better to use a piece of cotton or something like that. But unfortunately, this is all I've got. So you have to use what you got. I'm going to go over, take off any excess. I'll let that dry off. I'll give it a very light sand in between with probably about a 600 grit. And then once that's sanded, I will give that 2 or 3 more coats of that same stain. And I think that will come out looking nice. Well, that's all nice and finished now. As you can see, that is stained. It's a lot, well, not a lot darker, but it's just a nicer, richer colour than what's on here. And I've taped it off again because what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the sides and this frame here in the fancy black by Arteza, which is an iridescent black. And I'm also going to do the rest of the box in that colour as well. Anybody that's watched my channel will know I love these paint, and they give a lovely coverage. The lid is all finished now. All I need to do is give it a coat of varnish. I'm really pleased with how that's come out. I love this iridescent paint, and I think it finishes off there really nicely, especially with like the border around there. I did toy with the idea of putting a bit of gold leaf over it, but I think that would have been over gilding it. I've also got a handle, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to put the handle on. Don't forget, I will link where I get everything from in the description below, so don't worry about that. So all I'm going to use is a satin varnish, and just give it a couple of coats of satin varnish all the way over the outside. Oh, I can't wait, I'm so excited! The tray has also come out really, really nice. That glued together lovely. I did that in red iridescent paint because I just wanted a little bit of clashing. As you know, I do like to clash my colours. Well, I'm ready to add the handle now, and I've marked 2 marks there where I want them to go through, and I've got the right size drill bit here. So I'm just going to slowly drill through. All I need to do now is to add the handle, and that just literally goes on to those 2 things, and you just screw it on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. It's all finished now, it's all put together. I've got a latch on it, I've got a handle on it, the hinges are on it. So I'm going to be keeping all the things that I use for doing this sort of silly thing with in it, because I was finding it was really difficult to keep them all together and find where they were. And it should look nice and neat. And it's a really quite a robust box considering what it looked like before, and it hasn't taken an awful lot of time, certainly hardly any money, to do it up. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. I'm really pleased with it, and if you'd like to see me do some more of this type of thing, let me know in the comments below. Please boot the like button, it really does help the videos to get out there. And if you'd like to buy me a coffee just to say thank you and help support this channel, then the link for that is in the description below. Check out the video that's coming up next. There's another upcycle one that I've done, and I'm sure that you're going to enjoy that as well. Take care, enjoy your crafting. Bye.